You know, when you pop open a device and see that green board with all its little components, it can look like an alien city, right? It just seems so complex. But what if I told you that anyone, and I mean anyone, can learn to navigate it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to break it all down and map out a journey from total beginner to confident builder.
And this quote, it really hits the nail on the head. See, the biggest thing stopping most people isn't how complicated electronics is, it's the idea that it's too complicated to even try. So let's start by knocking down that mental wall right now.
Okay, I get it. You look at something like this, a schematic for a simple blinking light, and it just looks like a secret code. All those symbols, all those lines, you're probably thinking, where would I even begin? And you know what? That's totally normal. Feeling a little overwhelmed at first is just part of the game. That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? For any new skill, just finding that starting point can feel like the hardest step. So let's draw a simple map, and we'll start by clearing away some of the biggest roadblocks. All right, let's just get these out of the way. Myth number 1, you do not need to be a genius. Myth number 2, you don't need to be some kind of math whiz. And the big one, number 3, you are absolutely not going to learn this all in one day. Think of it like learning an instrument. It's a practical skill you build with a little bit of practice, not some kind of magic. So, what's the actual secret then? It's not about burying your nose in textbooks. No, the best way, the only real way to learn electronics is to just roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty. You learn by doing. And it works in this really cool loop. Check it out. First, you just start making circuits. As you build, you naturally learn the basics you need for that specific project. And then, the most important part, you make mistakes. Seriously, figuring out why something didn't work, that's where the real learning happens. It's this awesome cycle of build, learn, fix, repeat. And you know what? This hands-on method just fits perfectly with how our brains actually like to learn. We learn best when we tackle things in small, digestible chunks and get immediate feedback. And with electronics, that feedback is instant. The LED either lights up or it doesn't. There's no ambiguity, which makes it a super effective way to learn. Okay, you ready for our first big concepts? If there's one foundational rule in the entire universe of electronics, it's Ohm's law. Now, it might sound a little intimidating, but I promise you it's actually incredibly simple and you're going to use it all the time. So here's the big idea. Ohm's law just connects 3 key things. You've got voltage, which is kind of like the water pressure in a pipe. You've got current, which is the actual flow of water. And then you have resistance, which is anything that makes the pipe narrower, restricting that flow. The formula just puts it all together. Voltage equals current times resistance. That's it. And here's a brilliant little trick to remember it. With this triangle, you just cover up the thing you're trying to find. Need voltage? Cover the V, and you're left with I times R. Need to figure out the resistance? Cover the R, and you see V over I. It's such a handy mental shortcut. Let's make this real. Imagine we have a 9-volt battery, and we want to light up an LED. That LED needs about 2 volts to be happy. So 9 minus 2 leaves 7 volts that our resistor has to handle. We want to keep the current low and safe. Let's say 10 milliamps, which is 0.01 amps. Now we just use our formula. Resistance is voltage divided by current. So 7 divided by 0.01 gives us 700 ohms. Boom. You just figured out exactly which resistor to use. All right, so we've got the fundamental rule of the game down. Now, let's meet the players. Pretty much every component you'll ever use in a circuit falls into one of 2 main families, active and passive. And the difference is actually really easy to grasp. Think of it like a movie set. The active components are like the director and actors. They need power to do their job, and they can control and change the story. Passive components, they're the props in the scenery. They don't need their own power, they just sit there and influence the scene by storing or using up energy. Yeah, when you boil it all down, the real magic word here is control. As you can see, active components can add power, they can amplify things, and they can actually control the flow of current. Passive components can't do that. They just consume or store energy. It's the active components that really make a circuit smart. So your everyday passive components are things like resistors, which we just used, right? They limit current. Then you've got capacitors, which act like tiny, super fast batteries, and inductors, which store energy in a magnetic field. These are the basic, essential building blocks. And then on the active team, you've got the superstars like transistors, which are like tiny little electronic switches or amplifiers, and diodes, which are like one-way streets for electricity. These are the parts that do the heavy lifting and the thinking. Okay, we have the rules of the game, and we've met the players. Now for the really fun part, putting it all together. Let's see how all this theory turns into an actual physical project you can build. A really common player in beginner projects is the DC motor. It's a type of actuator, which is just a fancy word for something that turns energy into physical movement. In this case, it takes electricity and spins it into motion. And here is the awesome payoff. Using just a handful of these components, including that DC motor, you can build this incredible DIY turntable. And this isn't just about making something work. This project actually creates beautiful, artistic patterns. It's the perfect proof that electronics can be both technical and creative. This is what it's all about. So you've built some cool stuff, you've learned a new skill, that's amazing. But in our digital world, how do you actually show people what you've accomplished? Well, that's where something called a digital badge comes into play. Now, a digital badge is way more than just a little image you can post. It's a verifiable credential that you can share online. It's packed with data that proves who gave you the badge, what you did to earn it, and when you achieved it. It's legit. And this is why they're so cool. A digital badge gives you real, verifiable proof of what you can do. It also gives you a clear, tangible goal to aim for, which is a huge motivator. Best of all, you can pop it right onto your LinkedIn profile or your online portfolio, showing everyone that you're someone who is always learning and growing. So there you have it. We've pulled back the curtain on electronics, we've laid out a powerful way to learn, and we've followed the path from basic theory all the way to a shareable achievement. But you know, this framework, this idea of breaking things down, learning by doing, and celebrating the wins, that doesn't just work for electronics. It works for pretty much anything. So the only real question left is, what are you going to master next?